Courage to conquer, you know how it is. It's 24 hours a day, that's how I live. Gotta get the courage to conquer. Face your fears, face your fears. My empire, that's the goal. Building that wealth, I'ma get that dough. Hustling hard every day, I'm a ball in my pain. I don't care what you got to say, but you ain't got the courage to conquer. Courage to conquer. Courage to conquer. Courage to conquer.
Take 5. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Courage to Conquer podcast. That's Laura Himes. I am Earl Himes. We are the Conquering Couple. And we're going to talk tonight about what it's like to work together, still be married, how to put up with each other.
Don't drive each other too crazy.
Her point of view, my point of view, a woman's point of view, a man's point of view on certain situations and how we make things work. Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's
See,
how we
I'm
make
trying to
things
get
work.
her. See, that's how right there. See, little things like that.
That's how we make it
It's
work.
how things, yes, exactly. You gotta, as a man, you gotta figure out how just pick your battles. How bad you want something is what it is. If I really don't care, yes, baby, it's whatever you need. But for something for sure, then okay, then stay my ground. I want this little bit here. She can have all that right there, but I'm gonna get this a little bit right here. That's how we do it.
Yes, that is how you do it. I figured you out over the years. It took a little bit.
But different mindsets. Women, of course, and then men have different
Ways to go about
their brains
stuff.
think totally different ways to go about things. I mean, there's some things, like for us, if someone's analytical or someone's just a go-getter, they got to think all about it. Let's just go get it. Other person, that's kind of like us. She's more the analytical. Let's break it down. Like today, we was on the computer going over a meeting, and she broke down about 175 questions.
It was a
It
demo.
was a 15-minute demo that went over an hour. That's how many questions were asked. I had to bring another person in to help out with the situation with the questions asked. And she goes, I'm sorry, I still don't understand.
Actually,
And I'm
not quite.
going, well, that one's red and that one's blue.
No.
That one's red, that
You're
one's
trying
blue.
to sell me on a software program for our business that I just don't think is as user-friendly as you
it's
guys are
so
trying to
much
sell
money
it to
for-
me.
You will find out with all the staff, it's going to save us so much.
I don't know.
We're going to talk about that.
We're going to agree to disagree on this. It's going to agree to disagree.
But one thing, I'm going to go first.
I am the analytical
before you go.
person.
I'm going to go first before you go.
Okay.
I'll get my
Go
little
ahead.
bit out of the way, and then you can go. You can rock and roll with it.
You get your 2 minutes of fame,
I get my-
and then I'll
yes,
be the other
yes.
22 minutes.
Yes. I think a lot of times, and I do say this all the time when I'm talking to couples, is everything is, it's 100% each. 100, not 50-50, not, well, if she's not trying, I'm not going to. Same in marriage, a relationship, also in business. So if you treat your marriage and relationship like a business, so when you go into it, who has, what are your roles? What are my roles? What things you got to take care of, I got to take care of. And the same thing goes in business. Therefore, you make things work the same way. You don't get all crazy because being that we do everything together, and she is my best friend, that it's different in these areas because it's not like I can go home and go, or I can go home and she goes, hey, honey, how was your day? Because she knows how the hell it was because she was with me almost all day. Maybe that's why she asked me the same question 20 times sometimes. Because, maybe I'll get a different answer, maybe get something different, But a lot of times it is 100 is you got to put everything into it and treat all the same as part of it. Things cannot be different at home or in the office.
I think when we had decided, okay, our marriage was like a business, kind of like a business agreement. We told each other what we expected, what our expectations were of each other, what my role was in the family, what we're doing. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, that really and maybe you don't realize this, but I really feel this way. At work, we're both business partners. So we both have say in the business. We both sit down. We talk about the business with each other. We share our ideals with each other. And then we try to make the decision together what is best moving forward, whether it's a software program or hiring more people or whatever. Earl is the visionary. He's the visionary in our family life and in our business, not just he has visions for our family life too, not just our business. I'm more the analytical numbers. I'm more the number person, and the math needs to make sense, and I need to see the numbers, and I got to weigh the pros and cons of whether I feel that that's good for our business or what have you. Now, outside of business, Earl's a leader of the house. So outside of business, at our home life, I like the fact that I can go.
What?
I know you don't. I said you may not agree, but I like the fact, and I say it all the time.
No, it is. No, I agree.
That it's really up to you. So when it has to do with our family, we'll talk about stuff, but you have the final say on a certain particular thing with our family, because I don't want that position. I don't want that role. I do believe that God made men to be leaders of the family, and I do believe that
Preach, girl, preach.
And in the end, when we face our Maker, or everybody has their own beliefs. I'm faith-filled belief. I believe in Christ, and so when we go before God, I like the ideal that it's Earl's fault if something didn't go right, and I could say, "Oh, he made that decision." Like that's just my. But no,
I had to follow along.
But in our family life, when we talk about stuff, I will finally go, okay, honey, what do you want to do? And it's your decision. So if it's wrong, it's on you. I don't have that extra pressure, see?
Oh, see.
But if it's right, it's also like, oh, I'm so glad I let you make that decision. It's kind of,
That's right.
But in business, we do try to share the role, because we both put in so much into the company, I believe. Yeah. And we both have the same. I think what makes us different is we went into the relationship already telling each other our expectations. Like, you told me what you were looking for in somebody and what you wanted, and I said the same thing to you. And we both wanted to build a business together right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So we knew it wasn't like, I'm working for somebody for years, and then he comes to me, hey, I want to start a business. And I'm like, are you crazy? What are you talking about? That, we don't have money for that. There was never that part in our relationship. We both went into it starting a business together. That's how we went into our relationship. Yeah. And so I think with that in mind is I go in business, I feel like as long as we both get a chance to be heard, like if I disagree, I want you to listen to me to say, hey, this is why I don't agree. And I want to be able to say my say. And then you get to rebuttal and say, well, this is why you believe it should be this way. And then we try not to make a decision right then. Mm-hmm. We really do try to sleep on it. I feel like that helps.
Right.
What do you think?
No, we definitely do. Try to make rash decisions on anything that we do, personal or business.
Like, tell them a few steps that we take as a couple that you think help us. What do we do, like a respectful thing for each other that kind of helps us
here's something
move
she
forward?
Does. If we're doing something, say we're out, just something that's happened in the past. If we're out having a good time, something happens, something said, and something aggravates her, she don't just say something right then. She'll take it home with her, and then the next day, if it still bothers her, then she'll bring it up to ask about it. Because that way it's not a rash decision. She's not causing problems. We're not causing problems, but causing a scene in front of other people, because we never want to see anybody with us. If we have a misunderstanding or discussion, it needs to be between us, nobody else. Nobody else needs to see if there's any issues, because when it does happen, that's when everybody else starts chiming in, trying to put their 2 cents into your relationship that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So that's right there is having that time. Me, on my side, how I try to take it with her is I just try to listen about what she's feeling, what she heard, what she's thinking, and take time to sink that in. And instead of saying, oh, heck no, you're wrong. I mean, it's happened a time or two, of course.
You're crazy.
We both do a couple of things, but for the most part, I try to listen, hear her side of it.
And I think one of the things for us is, because like what you just said a while ago, I wanted to talk about that a minute, is we show each other respect. There's been a few times where we've had a disagreement in front of somebody at the office or somebody, and we realize, okay, that's not who we are as people, and that's not what we're wanting to portray. And so we don't do that anymore. We make sure that if I don't agree with something he said, I don't try to call him out in front of the contractors. Well, that's not how it's going to work. Or I don't try to do that, and you don't try to do that to me.
Right.
If you don't agree, you'll wait till later, and I'll say what's wrong, and I'm like, well, I disagree with what you said, and then we talk about it.
Then we call them up and you can redo the whole entire work order because I was right the first time, and we have to redo the whole thing.
That's right. Yeah. But that is a thing. And I think that's a thing, not just because we're business partners and we do that. There's a couple things. So growing up, my dad said, you never show your cards. You never show your hand. When me and Earl first got together, I was really bad. And I've gotten way better at this, I feel like, of sharing too much. I had to tell people, oh, well, I'm sorry, I didn't answer your call because I was doing da-da-da-da. And Earl goes, why do you have to tell? Just tell me we were busy. What's up? You give too much information. And so with us, I feel like even in business, I feel like when we talk, we're on a job site, if I don't agree with something, we wait till later to talk about it. I think it's very disrespectful, and I think it's very disrespectful in a marriage to ever cause a scene in front of anybody else and pretty much make your husband look like an idiot or telling me he's an idiot or say, what are you talking about? That's stupid. That is very disrespectful. And I think I know people that have marriages like that. I don't think that's a healthy marriage.
Correct.
I think that's very degrading to the other person, and I feel like that is taking away from that person. I feel like when you do that to your spouse or you do that in business, then the people in the office, you're no longer shown as one team.
Correct.
What do you feel about that? Like with the people in the office?
No, what you're right is about that because Chaz and I talked about this a while ago. We're talking about behavior and how it doesn't show you're in control. And something we're definitely working on is no matter what happens, at the office, for instance, or on a job site, business right now, but even personal, is if you keep your behavior intact, don't lose your cool, don't get all crazy and foobarred up.
Slamming doors.
Just listen, hear the side of it, take it in, just breathe through it. You're in control of yourself, and that shows so much more respect that the person knows, okay, hang on. If he's in control of himself, that means he can control the situation.
Yes.
As soon as you do blow your top and you flip out and start cussing, hollering, screaming, which I've done myself in the past. Don't act like I haven't, but I have. But when you do that, then you totally lose control of the whole entire situation. Things are said, things are done that you wouldn't have done. You get rid of somebody you shouldn't have. Now you regret it because dang it, I ain't got a towel guy no more. I got a towel job tomorrow. I got to start. But all I could have said is like, hey, okay, sounds good. Let's talk about it a minute.
I think you lose respect.
People
around you
lose
respect.
If you can't control yourself, how can you control a business? How can you control anything in your life?
Yeah.
And so that's something right there that we definitely work on is in any relationship, same content.
Because we do things differently. And this is something I've been trying to teach the office staff. And I've actually have talked a lot in the last few weeks about them. Every single person we hired is unique in their own way. No one's going to come in and do the job exactly how you do it. You're going to hire a scheduler. She's not going to do the scheduling exactly how you did it because she's her own unique person. So when she comes in, she may do it in different, but as long as she's getting the same end result and there's no wasted time and she's actually getting the job done, I feel like that's how she needs to do it because that's how she learns. Everybody learns differently. Me and Tanya talked about, grasping that. So once you realize that, and this is a thing that me and Earl talk about is I'm not going to think exactly like my husband, even though we have a lot in common. We do look at life a lot the same. He has a different way of processing things in his brain than I have. Men have a different way of processing information than women have. And so the minute you realize, okay, he's not going to say exactly what I want him to say when I want him to say it. He's not going to answer his question exactly the way I want him to answer it because he's not me. He's not a female. Women are apt to think about 10 things ahead of themselves, like I'm already into next week. And they have proven that men can literally sit there and not think about a single thing, like literally nothing. And you ask them, what are you thinking about? And they're like, nothing. Like literally their brain is not thinking about anything. And we're more like talkers and we're wanting, well, you want to talk? And he's like, no, I just want to sit here and think about nothing.
I believe the female talks, they say about 25,000 words a day, with the male around 10 to 11,000 words a day.
Yes. Even on the podcast. See, this is why I talk so much.
Exactly.
But on the other part of it is that once you realize in marriage that your spouse is not you, they're not going to walk like you, talk like you, do everything like you. Yes, you're going to have things in common. I'm sure, I would hope. That's what attracted to each other because you have the same common interests in life and the same common goals maybe in your life where you want to go. but they're not going to be you. So you can't expect them to, well, why'd you say it like that? Because that's not what I would have said. Well, I'm not you. So once I started telling the office staff, hey, not everybody who comes in here is going to be doing things exactly like you guys do them. And you have to accept that person is their own unique little person. This is how they do things. It's easier to see other people's point of view once you start doing that. I feel like that's easier. And that's made it easier for me and you, because when you make decisions that I don't understand, I'm like, well, there must be a reason why he's doing it, because he sees a different view than me.
Well, yeah.
I don't get defensive and go, why'd you do that? I go, so what was your thought process? Like, what made you come up with this ideal?
All right, because I'll say, she'll ask me something about, okay, how do you want me to say this? And I will literally, I'll say 4 words. And within those 4 words, I'll say them, and she changes them to her own verbiage, and we're 4 words into it. And then she goes, well, no, I said, well, then why'd you even ask me? Why you ask me what I should say?
I thought I could get it from the first 4 words.
But you've already changed 3 of them.
The first 3.
You said hello, and the rest of it, it's already a whole different thing.
That's true.
Hello,
That's true.
I apologize. Yeah. You go, hey, mother,
But me and you together, go ahead, finish, and I'll tell you something.
And what I'll say is, and also you find out how to communicate with your significant other or business is where, like, okay, Laura, she's a recognition person. She likes recognition. She likes to
A pat on the back.
pat on the back.
Tell me I'm beautiful.
So beautiful. Look so good. Looking so thin. 75
That's my love language, guys. It's my love language.
That's what she likes. Some people are family driven. Some are money driven. Some are just, it's just, there's different ways. You just got to talk to the person to find out what that person wants. And how they take your
when to communicate.
When to communicate and how to communicate with a person. Because if I'm talking to her about, almost all of them, but, say about family, about a certain one, she don't care about that right now. But if I tell her, well, it does help how you look because you're so less stressful when you talk to this person. She goes, really? Yes, it helps your cheek up. She goes, oh, okay. And then she'll start doing she'll articulate things out of the way. Same thing when you talk about money with someone or family or things like that in her life. So you find out how to communicate with that person. What really drives that person is how, to do that. So the 5 love languages. I need to read that book.
Yeah, we was reading it years ago. We started.
Right. I didn't reread it because that's brought up the other day about how business as well. Same thing. That's what I'm talking about, is how you can figure out what stimulates that person to really listen to you and articulate into their ways, because you find out what drives them, and therefore
so you're trying to figure out how to manipulate me?
No, you can find out just how to communicate better so you understand each other.
Okay, so talking about communicating, and this is in business and in our marriage. I have learned the hard way, because I started out, I am not a procrastinator, and I want things done now. I wanted things done yesterday, and all my guys they'll make jokes about, like, I know you want me to, I said I need it done like yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. But with us, I have learned when is the right time. I feel I really have worked on when's the right time to approach you about something and when I need to wait. When you're really, really upset about something, I've gotten better over especially the last couple of years of, okay, he's really upset, and I walk away and go do my thing, and then later I'll go, how you doing? And then I'll fill out if I feel like if you're still like, I don't know, I'm like, okay, it's still not the time. And then I try to go back when it is. Now that's where I started doing, okay, he's upset today, so we're going to sleep on it today, and then tomorrow I'll approach him, and he'll probably be in a better mood. And it usually does. 99% of the time, I can go to you the next day, and you've had time to calm down, and you've had time to think rationally about the situation. And then when I do approach you, there's not an argument. There's actually a discussion, and then 99% of the time I go, oh, well, that makes sense. I see your point of view on something. Right. And then I think you also see...
Because you're not mentally blocked dealing with your own...
With anger. Or frustration,
anger, sadness, or hate, whatever the situation may be at the time, you're not blocked by that.
And I know
that's all you're thinking about. You're thinking about that situation, not the entire. You got your blinders on. You're thinking about that right there.
I know some women like to run after their husbands right at that moment, and we're going to talk about it now, and they're arguing and yelling, and that's no good. That's not the time to talk to anybody, because all you're doing is escalating the situation. Yep. I feel so with us. like you try to pick your battles, which ones you really want to fight for. And because he does that and I get 99% of the things I want, when he does fight for his, like when you actually do come, I go, okay, hang on, this is something he really wants. Like he's actually really wanting this. So you need to give this one to him more because he really seems to be pushing for this one. Because I know you let me have 99% of the things I want.
Battle, I'll take the war.
That's funny. But we do that. I think we do that in our business and our marriage. And say a little bit more about how your marriage, if you look at your marriage like a business part, like a partnership.
Well, you kind of hit on this a while ago about getting into a relationship together is, when we first met, it's about our expectations of each other. And a lot of people nowadays, they don't even think about that. Ooh,
Yeah.
you look hot, you want to hook up, boom, that's it nowadays. There's
Yeah.
nothing else right now. It's nothing else even matters until you're into the couple of months going, okay, what in the world have I got myself into?
Mm-hmm.
That 45 seconds of fun now costs you 18 years of child support.
Yeah.
Maybe a minute, I'll give you that, whatever it is, dudes. But anyway.
Maybe a minute.
But, just take time to, the whole thing. That's the thing about courting, about dating. A person is just finding what they're about and who they are. And then you enter that relationship somewhat as a business. What will you be bringing to the table in this relationship?
Mm-hmm.
What will I be bringing to the table?
Yes.
Okay. If you're going, you plan on having kids. We've had, friends this way. They have kids. That's how I was raised anyway. Mom, she had the kids. She stayed home with them. She took care of us. Dad, he went to work. He brought the money home.
Yeah.
Other people, she's a breadwinner. She makes tons of money. He does a little bit of stuff, and he's the one who picks up the kids. Whatever it may be, or you both are working. One's got a nighttime, one's got a day job, one's night job. Then you just got to figure that out. Okay, you pick them up. You drop off of school. I'll pick them up. You make them breakfast. I'll make them dinner.
Yeah.
And that right there. But nowadays, nobody ever thinks about any of that stuff. They just go into this thing without a clue of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's just the wrong way to go about it. So you definitely need to understand, communicate, and understand what's going to be coming into a relationship, what you're both bringing to that to begin with.
Yeah.
That will transcend the relationships so much further down the road. It helps out. I've been ordained minister and I've married a few people, and that's kind of one of the things I talk about. It's 100%, 100%. She's not trying, I'm not going to. Well, no. You got in this saying you're going to. She's going through a bad time right now. Something happened with her mother, for instance, or a friend. She's pissed off right now. Just let her be pissed off. Give her a couple of days. You still do your thing. That way she knows no matter what, she can still depend on you. And vice versa. That way you're still there. That way you're there to help out, pick up the pieces of whatever she's going through. You're there for that situation.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it. Like she mentioned a while ago, if I'm in a bad mood, she waits, lets me go through it. She's right there. She ain't taking off, going out doing.
I'm not mad
things.
and going,
Same thing.
see, I'm out of here.
Situation.
We don't leave each other mad. We did that before in the past, years ago when we first got together. We'd get mad at each other and he's like, and then that's where it comes into insecurity or whatever.
Sure.
So we look at our marriage like a business arrangement.
Women, security
Just like our
is
business.
is a big thing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for a lot of times is women's security. That's for sure.
So that's how we do it. We give 100 both of us.
Yes. So basically, call to action is pay attention to what you're getting into. Look at the relationship. Put 100% into it both ways.
Tell each other your expectations.
Expectations. Keep your behavior in check. Don't lose control. Work through things and find your goals in life. What you're expecting and everything.
Write the pros and cons even. I know that sounds silly for a relationship, but okay, what's the pros about this guy? What's cons? And if your cons then you probably should think about that, ladies. If you write it down, you're going, well, he's cute. Okay, well, what else? Well, he's cute. Okay, so what else does he do? I mean, really, that happens a lot.
That's totally 100% nowadays.
And it's the same thing. Anytime we start a new business, and we've had other businesses, we look at the pros and cons of that before we decide to start it. So
Right. Correct.
So yeah.
Correct. So there you go.
I got it.
I hope we get some intel right there, some insight of how we do our things in our life and our business, and how we just have one of the best lives ever. We feel
Best marriage
together
ever.
and enjoy every moment with each other. So hey, go out and have the courage to carve the life you want to live.
Great.